Invincible didn't just change Tech Jacket, they straight up replaced the entire character. So I want to talk about what changed from the comics and where I think they're going to be taking the character from here on out. And okay, so we all know Tech Jacket as Zoe, but if you're a comic reader, you know that Tech Jacket was actually a guy named Zach, who was honestly a pretty sick character until you realize he and Mark play almost the exact same role in the comics. Like, both are heavy hitters from Earth, and they both actually look very similar as well. So when Robert Kirkman said the main reason why the character was swapped from Zach to Zoe was because in the comics he was just too similar to Mark, and they didn't want like a copy and paste character. And I would not completely disagree with that, but why didn't they just like change his hair color or his overall look like they did Rex and many other characters? Like, I just feel like there were other design changes that could have been made, but I mean, they didn't even just change like the gender or design, they changed the entire character, because for the most of the show this far, we have only seen her just getting bullied by everyone, and she hasn't even really had any feats. She's kind of just always someone who's having to get saved by Alan or someone else. I'm not gonna lie, don't even get me started on Alan, we'll get into him in a different video. Oh, and me saying this does not mean I don't like Zoe as a character. I do think, yes, she was nerfed way down in the show, and she kind of feels more of a support role, especially during the Invincible War. She's not really doing much fighting, unlike Zach, who was just on complete demon timing and even killed 2 Mark variants on his own. But she's still a compelling character at the end of the day, and I'm very interested to see how she affects the story differently than Zach did in the comics, or maybe nothing changes. I just want to find out soon either way it goes, but only time will tell on that. And I really hope they didn't just make this change for the sake of her becoming a background character who is just around to either push a different character story along, or for her just to end up as a certain someone's love interest. But I will be honest, do I think the love interest plot would be an entirely bad idea? No, not entirely, because Oliver does get down to some interesting things in the comics, but they would have to do it the right way with some build up, not just, hey, let's gender swap this character so she could be a new love interest for Oliver. I wouldn't like that at all. And plus, Oliver already has his little love interest down the line. But yeah, I just hope the change wasn't done just for that, because that would be pretty shallow and would be a huge disservice. But do I think the character change works? I mean, yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't. Like, yes, she's 100% a fraud in the show, but only in the context of the comics, because if you just ignore the comics entirely and just look at it from the show itself, does Zoe hold up as a character? Yes, she actually does. And yes, maybe she's pretty immature and doesn't have some insane feats apart from killing the 1 Mark variant, but that doesn't mean she needs to be bashed into the ground and compared to a character who in the show never existed. She is Tech Jacket in the show. And also, Robert Kirkman, the creator, didn't see Tech Jacket to entirely fit the show in the right way, so I don't know why we would even argue with that. I think he knows what he's doing. But yes, I can 100% see how a lot of people were upset about the Tech Jacket change and would rather have Zach, but to those people I would just say, open your mind a little bit and let Robert Kirkman cook a little bit, because I'm sure it's gonna be fine. But with all this debate going on, it leaves me with one huge question that I think some other people have as well. Does Zoe still have the same origin story as Zach? Like, does she get the Tech Jacket the same way? Does she also go fight in the Crush War like Zach did? These are a few things I kind of wanted answers to, and all of those things he did led to him getting stronger and be able to actually get the feats and be more experienced that he had in the comics. But Zoe doesn't have those things. She's also de-aged, she's younger. So did she experience the same things as Zach? We're not sure, but maybe she gets a spin-off or they do on episode 4. I'm not sure. I just would like some of those questions answered, because right now in the show, she's not really shown to be one of the strongest, and she just keeps getting saved and over by other characters, and hasn't really shown to stand a chance against any of the Viltrumites we've seen her fight so far. But yeah, other than the backstory thing and the fact that she's just like a 13-year-old, I think, that just went into space to fight aliens and no one had a concern about it, I think it is completely fine. And I want your opinions on this too. Do you think this character change was actually necessary, or did they take one of the most powerful characters in the comics from us? Let me know down below, and if you enjoyed this video, stick around, because we talk about stuff like this all the time. And as always, stay curious and keep the conversation going.